Hello students. In our previous class we discussed what is linear probing and we also solved a numerical example of hashing with linear probing. At the end we also discussed that the clustering is the problem with linear probing method, so we can modify it to avoid clustering problem. So to avoid clustering problem, linear probing may be modified as follows. So we will discuss few types of modified linear probing. Before you go ahead with this video, I request you to please watch lecture 1 and lecture 2 on hashing. This is lecture 3 for hashing topic. And today we will discuss how the linear probing is modified. So you can modify the linear probing as quadratic probing. So in linear probing, what you do, if there is a collision, then you explore or you probe or you examine the next location. Say hk equals to small h. So location h is already occupied, then you go for h plus 1, h plus 2 and so on until unless you find a empty location for your record. But in quadratic probing, what you'll do, say when there is a collision, that is location hk equals to h for new record r with key k is already occupied. So you want to store a record r with key k and you calculated hk, it is h which is already occupied by some other record, then you will not go for h plus 1, h plus 2, h plus 3 and so on, which we do in linear probing. What you'll do, you will probe the locations. Probe means examine the locations h. After h, you will probe h plus 1, that is 1 square, then h plus 4. Here I have forgot mentioning h plus 4. So h plus 2 square, then h plus 3 square, that is h plus 9, then h plus 4 square, that is h plus 16, and so on up to h plus I square. So instead of h plus 1, h plus 2, h plus 3, what you are doing, you are moving in fashion h plus 1, h plus 9, h plus 4, h plus 9, h plus 16 and so on. So this is what we call quadratic probing. This will help you in avoiding the clustering problem which exists in linear probing. Now you can also use, say this is another method of modified linear hashing. So you can also modify linear hashing in a fashion that you can use two hash functions. Say hk equals to h and h dash k equals to h dash. So this is another function h dash. So for a particular key, you will calculate hk. If it is found, a value is h. So if it is empty, you can restore your record. But if this location is already occupied, that means there is a collision, then what you do, you will explore the values h plus h dash plus h plus 2 h dash plus h plus 3 h dash and so on. So in this way, you will explore and store your record. So this hash function h dash will again generate different value for different keys. So h dash k equals to h, this is small h dash. So the h plus h dash, h plus 2 h dash. So this h dash value also dependent on key. So for different records, these values will also be different and there will be no clustering in double hashing. So I read it out. Here to resolve collision, a second hash function h dash is used. Let for a record r with key k, hk equals to h and h dash k equals to small h dash. Then we search or probe the locations h, h plus h dash, h plus 2 h dash, h plus 3 h dash and so on to store our record when there is a collision. So this is how the double hashing works. I hope that you have got this point, that how linear probing work, how the quadratic probing and double hashing works in case of a collision. So you need to choose one strategy for collision handling and a function which is well designed. Well designed, when I say, means it covers all of your keys in the set k, and for particular key, say ki, if hash function output is say mj, then mj is part of your range. If mj is not part of your range, then what to do? Either you include that in range, number one. Number two, you restrict that domain will not contain key ki, which is generating mj, because mj is not part of range, or you alter your function. So whatever you do, but that must be the condition that the function is defined from domain to range. Here I have put a note so you can read it out. I am reading it out for you. Any open addressing procedure is not suitable for frequently changing file. So the three methods, linear probing, quadratic probing, or this double hashing, these all are open addressing procedures and they are not suitable for frequently changing file. Then you will say why they are not suitable. They are not suitable because when you delete an item, the space becomes empty. When you will search for some value and you will come across that empty space, you will say, or you will conclude that the record you are searching for is not available in the list. So if you have recorded, if you have generated an empty space by deleting, this may lead to unsuccessful search result even if the record you are searching for is there. Let me explain you again. See, any of open addressing procedure is not suitable for frequently changing file. This is because the implementation of deletion operation has a problem in open addressing procedures. Say, suppose we have deleted a record tr. So we have deleted tr. Now when we are searching for another record r-, so we are searching for another record. Now we are moving in linear fashion or say double hashing fashion and whatever fashion, but we can come across the location tr. There is a possibility that we have come across the location tr which is now empty. This empty location, you will conclude that r- is not found because you have reached to a empty location. So here empty location does not signify that search of r- is unsuccessful, but you may lead to a wrong narrative that it is r- is not found because you have reached to an empty location. But empty location is not, it is due to deletion operation. So r-, there is a possibility that r- is somewhere ahead tr. So I hope you are getting this problem that when deletion operation is applied, the space is vacated, and if you are searching for some record r-, you will reach to a empty space and you may conclude that r- is not found, but that is not the actual case. So this is the problem with the open addressing schemes. And so what is the solution? We have earlier discussed that for collision handling, we can use open addressing or the another method which is called chaining. So chaining is solution for this problem. So what is chaining? Let us see how chaining resolves the collisions, how it is maintained. So here on this page, I have mentioned how it works. So first we will read it out, then we will take an example, and then we'll come back to this page and we'll read it again. This is required because before you read this, you cannot do an example because you have no idea about chaining. And when you read this, you can't imagine properly. So after reading this, you take an example, understand properly, and then come back to this and then read it again. Then it will become very clear to you. So first I'm just giving a reading to it. In chaining, two tables are maintained in memory to store a file f. So we are storing a file f, but for that we will maintain two tables. One is table T, which store the record. This table will have one extra field, link. So we have a table T in which record will go, and there is an extra field which is called link field in this table. Using links, record with same hash value are linked together. So what this link will do, it will link the records which are having same hash value. Another table which is called hash address table or list. So we will take another table which is called list that contain pointer to the entries in table T. So that will contain only the pointers. List will contain only the pointers. So how this is done? Let us take an example. Say I have these records A, B, C, D, E, X, Y, Z, and these are the HK values. Key values, K, what is the key value, what is the hash function, that is not important in this example. You can take that also, but we are having key for each of the record, and for that key we can calculate HK, and HK is like this. Say for example, so I want to store these records. This is a complete file F, and it is having 8 records in it. So I want to store these records. How to store that? Let us see in memory. So we will take two tables in memory. One is table T and one is table list. So see, this is our list and this is table T. Some avail pointer is 0. Avail means available. So in this table, all the locations are empty initially. So available is say 0. Whenever I will store some record, I will do available plus plus so that I will get a location where to store. Now you see, for I want to store A, record A, whose key is something and HK is 4. So I want to store A, so avail plus plus. So it becomes avail becomes 1. So I have stored A at this location 1. Now HK is 4. So in list you go to location number 4 and store 1 there. Why 1? Because this is a pointer to record. So 1 will point this. And why at location number 4? Because HK is 4. So when I'll store HK is 4, I'll store A, HK is 4, I will store it at location number 1 because avail plus 1 is 1. So I store here, I put link equals to 0, I will put link equals to 0 and I will do this at in list. List I will take the pointer 1 here at location number 4. So whenever I am asked to search for A, what I'll do, I will calculate HK. HK will become 4. I will go to list. I will take a pointer from here. I will go to the table and I will find it here. In that way, it will work. So to be more clear, let us take how B will be stored. So what is the value of A? Avail? Avail is now 1. So when you want to store B, you will do avail plus plus. So avail plus plus means avail is incremented. So avail is now 2. So B will go at location number 2 without looking at this HK. B will go at location number 2. Now you will see HK. You will go in list and there you will write 2. So in HK is 8. So here you will write 2. So there is a link now. Means when you will find HK equals to 8, you will come here and you will go to this location and you will find that your element B is there. Your record is there. Now what we'll do is where C will go. So avail plus plus, that is 0, 1, now 2. So C will go on 2. Similarly, D will go on 3. E will go on 4, and so on. So C will go on 3. Once C is stored at 3, you will see that HK equals to 2. So in list, you go at location number 2. I have mentioned it in red circle, and you will store 3 here because C is there in 3. Similarly for D, you will store at location number 4. Now you will go and check the HK. HK is 11. So you come to the list, HK is 11. So here you will store 4. That will denote you D is stored at 4 location in table T. Now you for E, HK is 4. So E will go at 5. E will go at 5. There is no doubt in this because Avel plus 1 is now 5. So E will go there. Then what to do? See, when I will put E here, I will write 0 here. 0 here means a link field. Link field is 0. This is not linked. Now how to link? HK is 4 for E. So I go to location number 4 and I want to write this 5 there. 5 is the pointer for E. So I want to write this 5 there. But what I see at location number 4 in my list here in previous diagram, you see 1 is already mentioned. 1 is already mentioned. That means that there is another record for which HK is 4. So what to do? Now I will write this 5 here. So this 5 here and this 1 will go in front of E. 1 will go in front of E. What is the benefit of this? Say next time when you are searching for say E, you will generate HK. HK is 4. So we'll come to the list and you will find the pointer is 5. So we'll go in location number 5 and you will find yes, E is there. So it is found. So that is case D when you are searching for E. Say you are searching for A. Remember, HK of A is also 4. So you are searching for A. Then what you'll do? You will take HK. HK is 4. So you'll come to the list to find the pointer. You find the pointer is 5. You went to the location number 5 in table. You found that A is not there. So you can see the next pointer. This, so it is 1. So it is telling or suggesting you to go to 1. So you went here. You went here and you see A is found. So it is over. You have found it. Now you say something having value HK equals to 4 but not in this list. Say I am searching for T for which HK is 4. So I will come at 4th position, will see 5 is the pointer. I will go at 5. T is not there. I will go at location number 1 now because 1 is mentioned here. Oh, T is not there. Then there is a 0. It means list is over. T is not there. T is an unsuccessful search. So in this manner, this search will be performed. So while inserting the element in this method chaining, I am also telling you how we will search when there is a need of search. So I hope it is clear. I am again repeating this insertion of E. See, in this table, things are inserted in linear type only. There is a pointer link field also there. So when we put 0 initially, then we do something. So how that to do? See, Avel was 4 when I inserted D. After that, I will make it plus. So 5 at 5, E will go at 5. Here I will write 0 initially. Then I'll see what is the HK value for E. So for E, record E, HK is 4. So I will go to location 4 in my list, which is list of pointers. Here I see that 1 is already mentioned, but I want to mention 5 here. So what I'll do, I will mention 5 here and this 1 will be placed in front of E. So it will become a link. Link between what? A also have HK4, E also have HK4. So both of them are linked now. So you will go at 4, you will go the pointer 5, you can find E and then you can see next value A, which is also having HK equals to 4. So I hope it is clear. Now I want to insert X. See, X will go at location number 6 only. This is going in linear fashion only because we are using Avel plus. So X is stored here. In front of X, you will write 0 with a pencil, say. Now you will see HK equals to 11. So this 6, you will write at 11th position in list. But at 11th position, 4 is already there. So you will write 6 and this 4 will be shifted in front of this X, which is link field of this table. So I hope you are getting this point, how I inserted this X. When X came to me, I did avel plus plus, which becomes 6. I have inserted X here, link field 0. Then I found HK of X is 11. So in this list, I need to mention this 6 at 11th position. When I went to 11th position, I found that 4 is already written there. So that 4 is shifted in front of X and 6 is written over here. This is how it works. Now, I want to write Y. So Y without collision, it will be written at location number 7, and this 7 is mentioned at location number 5 in this table. Why location number 5? Because HK of Y is 5. So 7 is mentioned here. Then you will insert 8. So 8 will go at location number 8 here. Z will go at location number 8 here. And this 8 we will mention at location number 1 in this list. Why at location number 1? Because HK of Z is 1. And now the avel is 9. So in that fashion, you can store the values in chaining. Why it is called chaining? Because the records for which HK value is same, common, those all records are chained in form of a linked list sort of thing. So now you again read it out. Chaining, two tables are maintained in memory to store a file F. File F may have multiple records. Table T store the record actually and it have a link field. So that link field is used to link together the records with same hash value. So you use an avel to store the values. So avel, you can initialize with the beginning of this T. So 0 or 1, and accordingly you can write your program. Hash addressing. So this is list which contains pointer to the entries in table T. Now you can write a program for this also if you are interested in. So thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you. Hello. Yes, sir.